Bar for Bar album reviews. Ian Kelly, Kells is Dead. Kells is Dead is the latest project from Oakland rapper Jamla signee and Grand Nationxl member Ian Kelly, formerly known as Kells. This tape follows his previous Jamla release, ChampIan, from 2018, as well as his many features and contributions to the recent Grand Nationxl projects. This project is meant to be a maturation and evolution of sorts for Ian, hence the title Kells is Dead. The death of his previous rap name can be seen as a rebirth of sorts. From the flames, a phoenix rises and is reborn. Although its life has run its course, it returns anew with the knowledge of its pasts. Throughout this tape, we get a really introspective look at Ian's thoughts and ideas, which ultimately leads to one of the most recent albums to stay in heavy rotation. This project starts off with an intro from Champ Green, who really sets the tone for what's to come. Here, Champ reminds us that as we go through life, we grow and learn from our experiences, because how else will we transform from a larva to a caterpillar to a cocoon to eventually becoming a beautiful butterfly? With the end of the intro proclaiming Kells is dead, we get a sense of despair. However, it could also really just be seen as Kells being the cocoon or the shell that Ian Kelly came from. His time as Kells is what brought him to this point. This takes us to the very first song, Misunderstood, which features one of my favorite samples ever, Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood by Nina Simone. The juxtaposition of this sample with Kells' chorus is just ridiculous and totally caught me off guard, but it works so well and fits the idea of the sample. He don't care what you suggest, he's just riding for respect. The respect aspect is something that Kells really focuses in on because oftentimes he's found that people just keep having opinions on what he should be doing or how he should be living, even if they haven't experienced anything that he's going through. He brings up a really interesting point where about halfway through the song, where he talks about other rappers talking about things that they don't actually have. Here, instead of playing it like he actually has everything and others are just being fake, he brings up the idea that sometimes these people might just be manifesting them, and this could be a potential forecast for what's to come. And maybe that's just what these other rappers are doing. Make Room starts off immediately with Ian questioning if he's done enough. This line itself really sets the tone for the track because it shows the listener that he's at the point in his career where he's seeing some level of success, but he's also seeing people that are directly connected to him still struggling. I really enjoyed the line, "Some of my closest friends are my enemies, like utilities you gotta pay for this energy." This in itself says a lot, and is something that I feel that many artists struggle with, because they have people around them that are, they're supporters, but they also have others that are around them that are just there for the clout and just trying to get something out of it. He flips it though, and tells them that to be around him, they gotta pay for his energy in some capacity. This to me is not necessarily just about being like, hey, I hear some money, but it's more about being genuine and actually supporting him through all the struggles rather than just being there when he's winning. Tiny Caesar slows things down a little bit with the production, definitely adding a bit more of a soulful sound to it. This track is interesting because it starts off with what sounds like a concert or an open mic performance with everyone clapping and cheering, which then leads into Kelly's conversation that he had with one of his homies about elevation. The first verse is about how he's been doing well and everyone around him is uplifting him. It's a really positive outlook and solid verse, which makes the second one all the more impactful. At this point, he gets a call from someone saying, "Yo, I think I'm pregnant," to which his homeboy's like, "Nah, ignore that," because his homeboy is the one who said, "No, I'm the dad." This whole track though, it really just has a solid open mic or slam poetry vibe to it, making it really enjoyable, to me at least. Things switch up a little bit with the track Time. Here, he makes it very clear that he ain't got time for you. The you here is someone that he was involved with in the past who didn't really give him any time when he was not popping. And now that he is, they're trying to get back into his life and see what's up. But Ian knows that they're just being fake about it. He wasn't getting the attention from them back before he was signed, so why should he give them the time now? It also touches on the idea that even back then, he was struggling still, but he was gonna still do what he could to help out, which isn't something that was reciprocated. Now that they're trying to get back into his life, All he's got for him is 2 fingers in the air. With Nobody, we get a pretty somber sounding track. He starts off mentioning how he trusts nobody, which is a sentiment that makes sense. It's hard to trust people sometimes, but he makes a point to mention that he does in fact trust God and his family because they're the only ones that are truly there for him in the end. Here he also mentions how his father died, and with that, things make a bit more sense. He feels alone in the world and feels it's hard to be able to trust anyone. As the track progresses, Ian finds resolve in building up the town. This makes it feel like he's been through a lot, but he still wants to push forward and build up his community. In doing so, he may be able to begin to trust people other than just God and his family too. Gold chain is in direct reference to a gold chain that his father gave him, and now he'll continue to wear it for the rest of his life. He starts off by using the gold as a way to prove that he's legit, since, his neck ain't turned green yet from wearing it. So it's real gold. But he also uses it to remind himself of some of the things that he's learned from his father, like not spending all your money on material things. Hence the line, invest before cashing the check. He also uses the gold chain as a reminder to keep pushing forward through whatever obstacles may be in his path. Repaired is all about making it out of the struggles in life. Even when things are not looking too great, having a positive outlook may be what makes the difference between pushing forward and just being stuck in a cycle of negativity. Obviously, it's hard to try to look on the bright side when you're going through those tough situations, but if you can, it definitely would help. Maybe. I think the line that summarizes it best is, I learned you have to be the light to really make statements. The light to me could be thought of as positivity in general, but also could potentially be about problem solving and maintaining focus during tough times to get up on out of them. The track ends with a quick bit from Champ, which then leads right into Soul of a Man. Soul of a Man touches on a lot of the things that people are experiencing in the hood. Gentrification is a big thing, especially in towns like Oakland, so bringing it up alongside the mention of this man getting arrested screaming, "We gonna be alright," makes it all the more impactful. Oakland, as well as other predominantly non-white neighborhoods, often deal with members of their communities being taken away for something that they may not have even done. The "We Gonna Be Alright," as well as the mention of butterflies and pimps, add to the "To Pimp a Butterfly" references. This track definitely already has a similar vibe to it, but the references really help push it forward and remind you of the protests that didn't occur just last year, but in years prior, where protesters would chant, "We gonna be alright." I feel this track does a good job of mentioning these more politically charged aspects without really getting too into it or beating the listener over the head with it. The album begins to wrap up with the track "The Passionate," featuring Ruben Vincent and GQ. The chorus talks about how they hope their passion does more than just saves themselves, which to me makes it sound like they hope the music and everything that they're doing and putting out into the world helps everyone, not just them. They could be doing this music thing just for themselves at first, but as time goes on, you start to think about how it could potentially help others. A lot of people first think to help their family and friends, basically those who are around them to support when no one else would. However, with music, because it reaches so many people, the words that you have to say could definitely help others get through whatever struggles they may be facing at that time. The penultimate track is "One Time," which was actually also the first song on Ninth Wonder's Zion 5 tape, which dropped fairly recently. This track feels like a dedication to someone who had a major impact on Ian and his life. Without watching the video, it really could be about anyone, but the video shows us that it is more than likely his father that he's referring to here. We get an insight to why Kells is doing the things he's doing and the way he's doing it, and it turns out that a lot of it is due to how he was raised and taught. The final track here is "Better," featuring Heather Victoria. This track sounds like it's dedicated to someone that makes Ian feel better and makes him better. Possibly someone that he's been romantically involved with, or just at least the idea of them. Here it sounds like he's more reflecting on the past and things that he could have done to maybe make things better with that person. Even if they're not currently together, it sounds like he's hopeful that they could eventually be together again by the end of the track. Overall, this album was really good, and I've had an incredibly hard time listening to anything else. Between the shorter runtime and the consistency with the sequencing, there's a lot to enjoy. One weird thing that bothered me at first was that it sounded like the mixing was a bit off, but now it sounds fine. So I'm not sure if like the original upload was just not the right version and they just fixed it, or if I just got used to it. Either way, after listening to it on repeat for a while, it's dope as hell and definitely deserves a listen. My favorite tracks are Misunderstood, Nobody, Repaired, Soul of a Man, and Better. I look forward to whatever is next to come from Ian Kelly. But in the meantime, I'll be listening the hell out of this project. Let me know in the comments below what you thought of this album and what your favorite tracks are. Also, remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more content and reviews like this one. Thank you for watching, and please stay safe out there.